Students in school, the office crowds going about their daily routine, and hospitals coping with patient load. Life for people in Hong Kong seems to be back to normal for the most part, but borders remain shut to most non-residents. Even when the Delta variant threatened the community, authorities managed to quickly snuff it out before cases soared. Hong Kong has seen a total of some 12,200 cases after 6 were reported today, all imported. There have been no local cases for almost 2 months. About 63% of its eligible population, 12 years old and above, have received both doses of the vaccine, while 67% have got the first shot. With more is our Hong Kong correspondent Claire Huang. Welcome back to the show, Claire. How has Hong Kong managed to keep case numbers down despite a lower vaccination rate than Singapore's?
It has been for some time a combination of strategies. We are looking at tight border controls. Non-residents are largely not allowed into Hong Kong. And if they do allow, most of these non-residents are, fully vaccinated. So there's also long quarantine periods for arrivals of up to 21 days in a designated hotel. Mandatory and voluntary testing still goes on, and you've got arrival swabs. These are like 1 to 2 weekly swabs for unvaccinated civil servants, workers in certain sectors, including food and beverage, including construction, nursing homes. So anybody who is deemed in a high-risk sector, you have to, and you're not vaccinated, then you have to go for testing, frequent testing. So on top of that, public gatherings are now capped at 4. This is the case for many months now. Screening, surveillance, and contact tracing, those all still go on. They're mostly centered on imported cases now because we've got 0 cases, 0 local infection for almost 2 months now. And, they will still do contact tracing for close contacts of those imported cases. We still have mandatory testing notices being issued to places deemed at risk. And if needed, officials can still, order ambush overnight mini lockdowns of an area to force people in that area to go for tests.
Claire, you mentioned earlier as well, borders remain closed to most non-residents. What are the plans? Are there any plans even to resume travel in and out of Hong Kong?
Well, Hong Kong's priority is to keep the caseload at 0 in order to reopen borders with the mainland. Recent annual surveys indicated that the number of business operations in Hong Kong with parent companies overseas or in the mainland came up to more than 9,000. And the number of startups in Hong Kong hit an all-time high of more than 3,700 this year. So, looking at these numbers, that Hong Kong's fortunes are tied to the mainland. So from tourism to finance to daily living, like your water, food. So the priority always lies with the mainland. So any resumption of travel will be with the mainland, Macau and Taiwan, Chinese regions. Now, as it is, non-residents are mostly banned from entering Hong Kong, with the exception of those traveling from mainland, Macau or Taiwan. There's some sort of a travel there. So how far away will travel resume between Hong Kong and the rest of the world? That is anybody's guess.
Well, thank you so much, Claire, for the update. That was the Straits Times' Hong Kong correspondent, Claire Huang. It appears China is one of the last few nations in the world holding on to the goal of eliminating COVID-19 as more countries, including Singapore, shift away from a zero-tolerance strategy. With 75% of its population fully vaccinated, China is grappling with its 4th wave in 2 months. This week, it locked down a prefecture in Xinjiang province over 2 asymptomatic infections. Eliminating the virus would prove harder during the upcoming winter season. Plus, in 3 months, Beijing will host the Winter Olympics, welcoming thousands of athletes from around the world.